all hot Papercraft. Let's first look at some finished models of the bus. This is one, and this is another. So here's how to do the public transportation bus. We start by putting the cursor in the center of the area and then adding a cube. Okay? Then we switch to the side view and then we align the top left corner of the bus, of the cube with the top left corner of the bus. Okay, so move up and move over here, and we don't go all the way over here, okay, because this is another part. So now we move over here to this position, we put the cursor in the corner. Now we can scale this towards the bottom and towards the back, okay? And then we do the same in the top view. This time we only need to have the green axis. So we move over the green axis and we take the corner here and we scale down to here. And of course, for both of this, you need to make sure that the cursor is chosen, okay? So now you have the main body part, okay? Then you'll do the front part. For that, you're going to edit mode. And in edit mode, of course, you can select a vertex. You can select an edge, or you can select a surface. Okay, so we start with a surface in this case, and then we use the extrude tool. And what the extrude tool does is just pull out like this. Okay, so you have to be careful to click on the plus button because then it comes out straight. If you click anywhere else, it will come out in the other direction. Another thing to be careful is you're not to accidentally move it back, something like this. Okay, so because this creates problems. So be very gentle, pull it out to where you need it, and then let go. Yeah. And if you don't get it to the right position, then you can just switch to the move tool, and then you can use the move tool to move it back to the position where you wanted it in the first place. Okay, so we pull this out. So now we need to scale this from both sides. And if we still have the cursor selected, then what will happen is that it will not scale the same on both sides. You see that? So in order for this, you need to be exact in the middle. Technically, you could put the cursor in the middle, but that's not accurate enough. Actually, it's much easier to switch the alignment here to bounding box center. Okay, so now switch to the top view. And then we can scale here along this axis. And we have this side, okay? Then we select the edge. And then we can move the edge down to create the windscreen. Yeah, so somewhere around here. You can also turn on the X-ray view to see better, yeah. And then we need to have the lower edge and pull it side view, pull it up a little bit. You see that? Okay. Actually, we could still, if we want to make it better, we can also still move this one a little bit backward, but it's not really required. Okay. Then, so we have the front. And now we should look at the back. It's a good idea to hide this image. So let's see which image is it. So hide this image. Okay. And now we can select the surface here. And once again, we pull out. Yeah. Okay. And then we go to the top. And actually for the bus, we don't need to scale this inward. Yeah, because it just goes straight. We can maybe scale it inward a tiny little. Okay, and then the lower edge here, this lower edge, we move it up somewhat. Okay, to this angle. Okay, so now you have the back part of the bus. Now for doing the other stuff. Okay, so here there's this corner here, and there is the AC, and the AC is basically the same as is the cabin on the cars. The only difference is that you need to first use the knife. Okay, so here for the knife, you go to the top view, and yeah, you need to actually, it helps to go to the top view and then switch to X-ray, and then we take the knife. And again, how the knife works, you click, and then you get a line. You click again, there's a corner, you click, 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 and until you press enter, and then enter means that it will be committed. So now you have this new line here, yeah? This new edge, and you could technically move this out Yeah, but why would that? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. So, and then if you want to get rid of this line, you can use right mouse click and dissolve edges. Okay, so if you want to move over here, you need to make sure that it's in a straight angle, right? So that means you can actually let the knife move along the y-axis. So again, you click the knife, you click on the edge here, then you get this, okay? Then you hold the Y key on your keyboard, and this, you see the y-axis appears, so you can you can move along the y-axis to the opposite side, click and hit enter to commit. Then you do the same thing another time here. Yeah. Hold Y, other side, click enter. And you can also do it another time here to create this corner later. Okay. Y over to here, enter. Okay. So you successfully used the knife. And now you can create a little corner here in the back by moving this edge a little bit down. Go to the side view, move this edge a little bit down. Okay, so, and then you have here in the center, and you have two ways to create this AC. One would be to select the surface, move it out. Wait, no, extrude it right to the right size. Then go to the top view and adjust the width and the length, and then adjust this edge to the right position. Okay, so this would be one way to do the AC, or the other way to do the AC would be to use the inset faces. So then again, same thing, you go to the top view, go along the ring to create the inner frame, right? Then you use the edge to make the edges in the right position. Make the edges in the right position. Then select, select the main surface here and move that up. Okay, so you have the AC. And this means you have the main body, you finished the main body. Okay, so now you need to create the main body, okay? Now you need to create the wheels. Okay, so for this, actually, so if you look at the side view, you will see that you have wheels and you have this part. And this is not really a wheel because, this is not really a circle because it needs to be straight here, okay? So actually, there are two ways that you can do it. So I have provided a file that has it, okay? So, so here is a file. So that's in this case, first save, okay? Then you need to get that file. So here's the fender, okay? Where is it? Okay, so here the fender, and then you can copy that. Copy objects. Go back to your bus, yeah, and paste. Of course, you need to go to object mode to paste, yeah. Paste, paste objects, and it will already put this one in the right position. If you want to create this yourself, yeah, I will show you how to do it. So you can add a cube, and then you move the cube into that position, align with the corner edge, put your cursor in the corner, scale down to use cursor to scale down to that corner, okay, and then maybe you need to move a little bit up, okay, and now you have something called the bevel tool, and the bevel tool does the following thing. See, it does this. And then you can adjust things to be, you can adjust here, you can have more steps to make it round. Actually, for a paper model, this kind of round stuff is not a good idea because it's very painful to build. Okay, but anyway, in this case, we don't even need it, okay? So we just select these two edges, and then we bevel them to the middle, and then we increase the segments to make it round, and then we have the same part, as you can see, okay? So I will get rid of this one. I'll just use the same one for everywhere. So, and then for the bus, there's something that you need to pay attention to, because a bus has 2 wheels in the back and 1 wheel in the front. Okay, actually 2 wheels in the front and 4 in the back. Okay, so this hole needs to be bigger in the back and smaller in the front. Okay, so this one is already in the right position, and as you can see, if you look at the front, now let me see if the view is aligned properly. Okay, so the view is not aligned properly, so I need to move this view a little bit over to align properly. Okay, so now it's better. And now you can see that the hole for the wheel is actually aligned with 2 wheels. Okay, hide the body again. Duplicate this. To duplicate, click right mouse button, duplicate objects, and then click. Don't move. Okay, if you duplicate and then move, then you already not in the right position. But you need to move. You need to keep in the right position, so you can have you can use the arrows to align it properly. So duplicate objects, just click, and then get the cursor maybe a little bit over here. So then click and move this one over to the other side, and now go to the front view and see to that this is aligned, in this case left, with the 2 wheels. Now I will duplicate these 2 once again, duplicate, and I will move them. So actually only one was duplicated. Duplicate again. Okay, so 2 duplicates, move them over to the front, put them in the right position, right? Okay, and now from the front view, this one, and it's good to switch to X-ray, so this one needs to move more to over here, so it aligns with the middle here, you see that? And then this one needs to move a little bit to the left, so it aligns with this one here. Okay, so now you can see, if you look at the top view, you can see that these wheels are more in, these wheels are less in. Okay, then you have your... Okay, so now it's a good idea to save, yeah, because before you choose Spool Tool, you want to save, because if you want to change this body later, it may be troublesome. Okay, so I will save, and I will also save under a new name. Okay, this is super important. Save under a new name, so you have this old file. And save as. Okay, save as. And now you can go ahead and go back with the Spool Tool. Just check another time from the top if they are really all the same position, if there's the same distance in and out. So now I can choose this, and choose always the object which will be deleted first. If I choose the body first, and then the wheel, and then this thing which will be cut out, then I use the Spool Tool, it will cut away the part of the wheel which is for the fuel, but we want the opposite. Okay, so we choose this first, then choose the main body, then go to Boolean and difference, so we have the first hole. Then we do the same thing again, Boolean, difference, yeah, and there's an extra one here, obviously, just delete that. Oh, so many extra ones. Oh, but now, you see, now there's the hole, and then we do the same thing on the opposite side, Boolean, difference, and there's yet another extra one here, and then do the same thing here again, object, Boolean, difference. Okay, so now I have the holes. If I turn off the bottom view, I can look down and look at those 4 beautiful holes. Okay, I will hide the body once again, and now I need to create the wheels. So I will go to the side view, and I will add a cylinder. Okay, and it's very important that after you add the cylinder, you don't do anything first, okay? So you add the cylinder, you just click. Oh, that was a cube. You add the cylinder and click on the cylinder, and then you do nothing. And then you go, the first thing you do is you go here and set the number of vertices up. Because you can see here you can see many corners. To avoid this kind of look, to make it more round, you should turn this up to 80 to 90, okay? So 80, so now you can see how this looks more round. And now you can rotate by the x-axis by 90 degrees to get it in the right position. And then you go to the side view, you move it, and you make sure that it aligns with the top of the wheel. So here, right? Okay. You put your cursor in that position, and then you can scale with the white circle here, and white circle, to scale the wheel to the right size. Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky. Zoom in helps. So make it to the right size. Okay, then you can go to the bottom view and turn on the yeah, okay. So have this in the position, yeah, and then duplicate it. Move one over to the back. Move one over to the back. No, it wasn't duplicated. Duplicate objects. Move one over to the back. Okay, then you go to the bottom view. Turn on your body. Okay, so now you can move this to align here with the edge. Oh, again I have to. Okay, so I will move this down to align here with the edge. Then I put my cursor here in the bottom and scale it to be the width of that. Okay, so that it's just about, maybe it can stick out a little bit. Normally it's flushed with the edge. Then do the same thing here. Do the same thing here. Move down to align with the edge. And then put the cursor on the edge and scale to the width of this. And yes, this should actually be 2 wheels, but for the model it's easier to just make it as 1 wheel. Okay. Then stay in the bottom view, copy these two, duplicate these two, duplicate, keep them in position. Now, once again, right click, and this time we mirror them. Okay, here's mirror along the y-axis. So now they are mirrored in this direction. So now we can move them over to here. Okay. So now we have the bus with actually the 6 wheels, yeah. 4 cylinders, but 6 wheels. And then the bus is basically finished. The only thing we still need is the rear view mirror. Okay, and for the rear view mirror, again, it's a good idea to hide the body. So the rear view mirror is a little bit tricky, but it's not so difficult. Okay, so I will add a cube. I will move this to the front here to the rear view mirror. And wait. So I will move it over here to the rear view mirror. I will get in the lower, in this corner, okay? Then I will switch to X-ray mode, go to the upper view. Then I need to make a little bit larger. I put my cursor here in this corner, okay? Now I can scale the width. Wait, I need to align by the cursor. I need to move this over here, yeah? And then scale this over to this position. Okay? Okay, so now I have something like this. And now I can go back from X-ray. I can move this up to this position. Okay, move this up to this position. About this position. Then I will click here. And I will scale the length down to here. Okay, you see that? Okay, and then the next thing I should do is I should adjust this corner, this edge here to come down to, maybe I can still move over here a little bit. Okay, so now I should adjust this. I go to edit mode. I select this edge, go back here, and then I move this edge a little bit down to this position. Okay, good. And then now I can use extrude to extrude this out. It doesn't matter how long, yeah. Okay, so now I bring back my body. And now all I need to do is I just need to move this over into the body. Okay? Maybe this mirror is a bit wide. Let me check with the front view. But it's yeah, okay, so actually I can still move this just a little bit more out, then it looks better. Okay, so that's the rear view mirror on one side. And then of course I will duplicate this mirror and move it over to the other side and mirror along the y-axis once again. And now what happened is it was moved over there. That's because it's aligned by the cursor. So here, if it's not by the cursor, then I will mirror and it will be y global. And then I move to the front and I need to make sure that this is in a similar position. Okay, so now I have my rear view mirrors. Okay, perfect. Actually, it's good to keep them a little bit bigger because they will make the building construction later easier. Okay, so now I have them, and then the last thing I need to do is I need to make all of them to one object except the wheels. Keep the wheels separate, is important. So here I select my two rear mirrors, I select my main body, I will go to object and boolean, and this time I choose union. So now they all become one object. Okay, and now this bus is finished, and of course save. Then the next steps we are going to do is to create the seams. I will explain, and then to paint it and to unfold it, but that is another video. So that's it. Thank you.